Did you know the deadliest civilian massacre of the Civil War happened in just 4 hours? On August 21st, 1863, William Quantrill led 450 Confederate raiders into Lawrence, Kansas at dawn. This wasn't a military target. It was a sleeping town full of families. Quantrill had prepared death lists with specific names of residents to kill. His orders were simple: execute every male over 14 years old. The raiders moved house to house, dragging fathers and sons into the streets. Families watched helplessly as their loved ones were shot point blank. Entire blocks were set on fire with people still trapped inside. Children as young as 14 were gunned down without mercy. For 4 terrifying hours, Lawrence became a killing field. When the smoke cleared, 200 unarmed civilians lay dead. Quantrill had chosen this abolitionist town for total destruction. The massacre shocked both North and South, escalating guerrilla warfare to genocidal levels. One man's calculated hatred had turned neighbor against neighbor forever.
Now, this one's a little bit different as compared to any World War II videos that I've done so far, simply because at the time of the Civil War, things like this were a common occurrence, merely because the idea or the concept of rule-based international law or war crimes or crimes against humanity wasn't really much of a thing, really, per se, even though most nations, particularly the European ones, albeit their empires, were keenly aware of it, but that didn't come into fruition in whatsoever in its own right until the 20th century, after the First World War and leading up to World War II and all the way to the end of the Second World War with the establishment of the United Nations, in which things like this became more a common occurrence and more known throughout the world, in which case when war happens and things like this occur in the modern era, individuals who are responsible or partake in events like this will be reprimanded, will be issue warrants whatsoever, and as per be target number one on anybody's enemies list, particularly with any warring nations they may have any issues whatsoever, in which case when said conflict is done, those individuals that are responsible for said atrocities will be put on trial or arrested, unalive and whatnot, in terms of whatever crimes they done as per to this, even though it's pretty much the same thing that's been occurring throughout the modern era, but this one's more different because this happened during the mid-19th century, during the Civil War. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.